Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, June 25th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And another week has flown by, and we're coming into the last week of June. Next, when is it? Saturday will be July 1st, and so we're halfway through the year. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube. We're going to go over climate-related items, methane for the week from CAMS and NOAA, and sea ice, and some earthquakes. And so we've got a lot going on. We've got record low ice around the world. We've got record temperatures in the ocean, and heating on land, and just all kinds of things. So we're going to start out with Climate Reanalyzer here. This is maximum temperatures around the world for today. You can see all these greens over the Arctic. Anything in a greenish tinge is above freezing, above zero. Zero is this aqua color, like this right around here in Greenland. And we've got here in the U.S. and Mexico, we've got whites from Texas going down into Mexico, New Mexico as well. Looks like Arizona and part of California and Mexico. And these whites are 40 degrees C or higher, and that's 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Look, we've even got whites showing up in Spain and Portugal today, and all across Africa, North Africa, and the Middle East, Pakistan, India, even up here in this is China, or northern China. It's in the white zone. We normally don't see whites up there, and so just fasten your seatbelt because there's more of this coming. It's been cooler than normal here in the Reno area, but we're going to be heating up this week. The rain is over, it looks like, and we're going to be in the 90s by the end of the week. And here's 2-meter temperature anomaly, and so we've got brown over Greenland and brown over the North Atlantic and over all of Europe, and Europe is really heating up and coming up into the Scandinavian area, and then dark brown in Siberia, eastern Russia, all the way across, and then brown in Alaska and western Canada here, and then coming across in southern Canada. Looks like, yeah, and then eastern Canada. Then we got blues. See the blues where it's cooler than normal, and then browns in the south here. Here's the flat view, and see South America is in the browns. We've also got Australia. You've got dark browns in the northern part. And see, we've got blues right next to the brown, so it's a similar pattern around the planet. And then here in the Antarctic, this had gone way up and then it went down, and now it looks like it's coming back up again. We've got reds here. This is western Antarctic, or kind of next to the Weddell Sea. Here's our overview. Worldwide, we're up 0.65 C, higher than normal. Northern Hemisphere is up 0.73 C. The Arctic is up 0.76 C. The Antarctic is up 0.61 C. Southern Hemisphere is up 0.57 C. And the tropics are up 0.6 C. And so we're seeing a shift in the temperatures being higher in the northern hemisphere now. And see, they've gone down a lot in the southern hemisphere and tropics. But both poles are higher than normal. They're almost equal. See, 0.76 and 0.61. So there's that. Here's precipitation and clouds, and with the warmer weather, you're going to see more rain in the Arctic region. And it's been raining around the coastline of Greenland this week. We've had record melting on Greenland this week that I'll show you. And here, see, it's raining right up to the southeast coast of Greenland and then snowing on land. And so this will cause ice melt because of the rain and the humidity and the warmth there. We're also seeing rain right here in the East Siberian Sea, right next to Siberia. We saw some rain over the Arctic this week, and then snow too there. And here's the flat view. And then, okay, here is the jet pieces, what used to be a jet stream. And see this big loop, this is the colder air coming down from the Arctic and then looping up here and then warmer here over Greenland and so on. And here's the Pacific view. We've got hairpin turns in these loops. So pretty chaotic. I'll show sea ice and snow cover in a minute. We're going to do a slideshow of that today. And then sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday. And so we've got browns up here filling up this Barents Sea. We've got reds even popping up here in the Kara Sea, and we've got browns where the ice has already melted. See, around some of these coastlines it's already in the brown. And we've got red next to Iceland, and then see we've got purples, which is colder than normal. This is on the edge of the ice. This is, I'm thinking it's from the ice melt where you've got the colder than normal. And then in the North Atlantic, they've been setting record temperatures recently, and see this bright red, and this is, well, that's about 5°C higher than normal. And they really need to change this chart because it only goes to 6°C higher or lower than normal. And it's an outdated chart, and so if anyone from Climate Reanalyzer is watching this, if you're so inclined, you could maybe catch up, because it's not going to get lower, it's only going to get higher from here. And so we've got red. Look, we've got red here in the Baltic Sea, and here in the North Sea, and here all around Spain, France, the UK, Ireland. So that's an evil eye there. Gulf of Mexico is almost all brown now. These Great Lakes are turning brown. You can see the browns coming in here at the Hudson Bay where the ice has melted. Oh, and here Gulf of California is brown. Here's the flat view, and here's the Atlantic. It's heavy brown. And we've got brown coming all the way down to the sea ice in the Antarctic. And then here's the Mediterranean with browns on the west side, and the Black Sea is almost all brown. The Caspian Sea has some browns. Persian Gulf has some browns. This Red Sea is almost all brown. This Indian Ocean is filling up with brown. Here's the Pacific view, and here's another evil eye that's sitting. It's been here for a while now off the coast of South America, and this is part of the El Nino warming. And see, it's brown on either side of Mexico and Central America, and here in the North Pacific, this is another evil eye forming. And then we've got in the Sea of Okhotsk, that's brown. Here between Japan and the mainland, it's in the red zone. And then you can see this Pacific is getting more brown. And then heavy brown around New Zealand here. So it's getting to the point where these oceans are just going to be boiling, and that is not going to be good. Alright, so there's that. And we had something interesting happen on the NOAA methane data this week. Oh, and we had the summer solstice. First day of summer was on Wednesday, the 21st, and I believe it was on the 20th that Met-Op-B satellite miraculously is now showing methane data in the northern hemisphere. So after I went to all that work of and frustration trying to figure out what was going on with no data up here. Remember, everything was gray for weeks, and so I ended up creating a separate spreadsheet of just the Met-Op-C data for the 487 millibar level. But now, miraculously, we've got methane data. You'll see, and here it is at Met-Op-B for the 24th in the morning, 1000 millibar level, and see these levels are up. The mean was 1843. They're showing the highest reading here in Western Russia and next to Finland and this Scandinavian area. That's at surface level. And here's the afternoon reading, and the mean was 1843. And see, we've even got methane over the Arctic too. Now we're not seeing readings over Africa or over eastern Russia. I don't know why. And over a lot of North America is still gone. But it's something. I mean, it's better than it was. But and wait and see. I've got a show for y'all tonight. And then here's the Met-Op-C in the morning. And see pink up here, Russia again. And then Met-Op-C and here the mean was 1846. And in the afternoon the mean was 1844. And we've got pinks kind of dotted around. And then, look at this, 487 millibar level, Met-Op-B in the morning. The mean was 19 parts per billion. And see, it's just covering, I mean, there's pinks all the way down. Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, all over the place. And see, we got readings over Africa, all of North America, most of Russia. We've got a little bit missing here, but I mean, this is more accurate now, it looks like. And then in the afternoon the mean was 1923. So pinks again, all over the place. And that's a range between 2000 and whatever the high number here is. Here it's 2435 parts per billion. And then here's Met-Op-C, and see, we've got pinks covering the northern hemisphere. We've even got some pinks forming down here in the Antarctic. This is where we saw the higher than normal temperature, and also down here next to the Western Peninsula. And in the afternoon, okay, so I'm getting excited here. So the mean was 1889 there in the morning, and in the afternoon it was 1887. And lots of pinks, and even down here in the southern, over the Antarctic. So that's significant. So we're going to start with this is the 487 millibar mean with just the Met-Op-C reading. I'm going to keep this one separated just in case something happens and they, I don't know, for whatever reason it's not work, may not be, doesn't work right. So this week we ended at 1888.0 parts per billion, and that was an increase of 3.5 here this week. And so 1888, and so we're when they started this model at the end of October, on the 29th, we were at 1885.50. So we're higher than where we were in October. And now it went up, it did go up. It went up a couple of weeks, 1 week there, and then it started going down. And it went up the week of November 12th to 1888. So we're 1888 right now. And so now this winter, look, so it went from, so like 1888, and then our low was 1866. So that's a span of 22 parts per billion. $18.88, so we've already come back up that much, 22, since our low on February 16th. So this will be, we're breaking records every day. Now the peak last year was around, I think it was mid-October, so it was like a week or two before they switched the models on us. So but this is astounding. This is just astounding, this anyway. So let's see what we did this week. So in our show last week, we ended at 1884.5, and there was no change that week. And then on the 18th, no change. 19th down 0.5, 20th down 0.5, 21st up 1.5, 22nd down 1.0, 23rd up 2.0, and 24th up 2.0, giving us an overall increase of 3.5 this week. And this is, I think this is the realistic chart that we can sit with. I wanted to show you though, this is going to be proof that their data was off. Here's the 1,000 millibar level with all 4 readings, and so they showed it going down for weeks in a row, down, and it was because of that missing Met-Op-B data. And then look, okay, so we were 1827.25 on the 17th, last Saturday. Then on the 28th it went up 0.75 a little bit. On the 18th, not the 28th. On the 18th it went up 0.75. On the 19th it went up 0.5. And then on the 20th is when we started getting the Met.B data in, filling in, and it jumped. It went from the 19th of 1828.5 to the 20th. It was reading 1833.75. So a jump of 5.25 in one day. So we know that's not real. And then the 21st, the average was 1843, so that showed a jump of 9.25 in one day. And so, 14 parts per billion in 2 days is just not realistic at all, because we'll see where, we'll have an increase over a year of 10 parts per billion, or maybe 15 parts per billion, but not, that's over a year average. A year from from 1 year to the next, but not this, in 2 days, an increase of 14.5. And then on the 22nd, it went down 0.75. On the 23rd, it went up 1.5. And on the 24th, we ended at 1844.0, went up 0.25. So these are more realistic from the day-to-day. But look, if we took these numbers seriously, it would show an increase this week of 16.75. And we know that that did not happen. And here's what the chart looks like. And so here's where it started going wrong. See, with the steep decreases. And I knew something was off. And so this is proof. This is proof right here. So here on, so back on May 13th, we were 1843.75, and then that was this reading here. And then on the 20th, we were 1840.5. See, it started going down, and that was because the missing data on the Met.B satellite. So I think I might make a note down here so that when we look at it, we'll remember. And also, it almost didn't even go down for the winter. See, it started the winter at just under 1845. We're 1844, 1843, so 1843.75. And then the lowest it got was 1840.25. So, 3.5, a decrease of 3.5 parts per billion for the winter. That's not good. That is just not good at all. It should go down a lot more than that. And then it started going back up. And so since then, we've gone up 4 parts per billion. since we were at the low on the 20th. Isn't this interesting? So, and if we hadn't been looking at this every single day, we wouldn't have known. We would have thought, oh, look, methane went way down. Look at the dip there. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. And then on the 487 millibar chart with the 4 readings with the Met B and C, see the jump here? It's showing an increase of 13.75 this week. And we know that it's a correction of the satellite data. And we saw it here. So here we are. We were at last Saturday, the 17th, we were 1890.75. So it'd been going down, or just kind of hovering. It wasn't rising, and it had been going down, and then just barely starting to come back up. And then on the 18th, it went up, down 1.5, and here on the 19th, see, it jumped up 3.0. On the 20th, it went up 2.0, and here's the big one, the big correction. On the 21st, it jumped up 8.75. So 3 days in a row, so 10, 13, 13.75 in 3 days. So we know that's not right. That was satellite data correction is what I'm going to call that. And then the 22nd went down 1.0. The 23rd went up 1.0. And the 24th went up 1.5. So this might now be a realistic number. I don't know. I mean, I'll track it, 1904.25. I'll track it, but the one I'm really gonna put my faith in is this one, the Met C by itself, 487 millibar. So we're on our way up now. We're in the heating season now for methane until around mid-October. So buckle up. There's no telling how much it's going to go up. So there's that. And then now we'll look at CAMS. This is Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services out of the EU methane forecast. And our base time and valid time are both for Saturday the 24th, and we're starting with the Arctic area and surface level to look at. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, right off the bat, we have activity at CAMS again. On Saturday, it looks like. And there's open water around there, by the way. And it bubbles up in the forecast period too, but see it starts out even coming up on Saturday. And then here's the Scandinavian area into western Russia. This is where we saw the high readings, or highest readings even, at surface level on the NOAA data. And here it's popping up in the interior of Russia, and here these higher readings are coming up further north from China. See the wave. When you see those waves move like that, the dark waves move out, that's super high methane. Super high. And then interior of Alaska is heating up. And here in North America, we've got spots all across Canada, and the fires are still going. And the smoke is stretching across, kind of spiraling out, and it's reaching out over the Atlantic now. I'll show you that in a minute. And this is just really blobby in the middle of the U.S. and eastward. And see, these background colors are higher. See, when the sun goes down, that's when the high readings subside. But even with the sun going down, this background color is up into yellow instead of green. Yellow, red. Look at that. And it even stays dark during the night right there. Or high. And then as soon as the sun comes up, it starts coming back to life. Okay, now we'll go to the North Pole view. And look at Germany, it's filling up. And UK there. Here's the Persian Gulf, India, China. Look at Japan, it's spilling over. And these waves, green and light green waves, now moving across. There's that, and then the global view. So this kind of darker blue is the main background color in the southern hemisphere. That's 1840 parts per billion, but we're seeing the next color up. 1860 is now growing further south. And you can also see it coming up here at this western peninsula. It's next to the Larsen ice shelves. And see New Zealand, you're filling up. Southern island especially. Australia. Let's see, that's the background color is getting higher over Australia. And see, coming further south here in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific too. And we'll go to 500 HPA. So it's gone up, not 16 parts per billion. It's gone up this week though. What was it? 3.5. Okay. So the heaviest is over, this is southern Russia, southeast Russia, coming down over China, Japan, down into Asia, and India. And see, it's dark, kind of spread out. Everything's redistributing with the heat moving it around. And we've got higher readings coming further south, and even yellows now, almost at the Antarctic. Normally it's greens down here, but now we're seeing yellows come in. And then total column. And so we've got heaviest here over Japan, China, Southern Asia, a lot of India there. Also here next to the Persian Gulf, or that could be at the Persian Gulf as well. So there's that. Now we'll just look at a couple more things from CAMS. This is sulfur dioxide today. And the highest is still from Popocatépetl. Here it is at 500 HPA. And so with the volcano, you know, that sudden blast sends it shooting up in the atmosphere, and we can see that's evident here, 500 HPA. Here's the ozone over the Antarctic, and the danger zone hole, we saw it a couple of days, but now that's kind of closed up, and so we've got aquas and greens over the Antarctic, still below average or good number. This solid yellow is 300 Dobson units, and that's considered to be an average number or good number. But it's still quite thin over the Antarctic. Here's the Arctic ozone, and we can see greenish tinge over the Beaufort Sea and also over Alaska. And this is the ozone thinning out, and also over eastern Siberia. Also coming up here over the North Sea. And here's the global view. And so we're still seeing greens around these mid-latitude lines. We're seeing yellows now creep in a little bit further south. So everything is redistributing as the seasons change. And here's the smoke. Now this is, let me see if I can rotate this. Okay, and we'll zoom in. This is the smoke This is from CAMS. This is the North Pole view. And let's see, this is Canada. It's US right next to it. So the heaviest is in northeastern Canada, but look at this cloud, and see, part of that smoke is already hit Ireland, and is already like over here, the Norwegian Sea next to Norway. See that? So it's coming your way. Ireland, UK, probably Europe. Just depends on what kind of jet loop catches it up. Uh-oh, now we gotta unrotate. Okay, earthquakes for today. There were 183 worldwide a little earlier today. We've got 2 Arctic earthquakes almost at the North Pole, right here. Right on the red line, that's a tectonic plate line. And they're calling it, this is a 4.8 north of Severnaya Zemlya. And this came in today at 3:46 this morning, Pacific time. And the location 85 degrees north, 94 degrees east. So almost at the North Pole. The North Pole is 90 degrees. So, and then another one, 4.5 right next to it, and it's right up here. And that came in at 3:53 this morning, so 7 minutes later. So I'm not surprised that this is happening, given the melting that we're seeing on Greenland so far. And when Greenland melts, that shifts the weight on the tectonic plate, and because anyway, and so ice is heavier than water, and so when that melts, when the ice melts, then Greenland actually weighs less, and so the tectonic plate will go up. And this is called isostatic rebound. And so as things heat up here in the Arctic, and we have more melting on Greenland, we're going to see more and more of these Arctic earthquakes. Now when the sea ice melts, that it's already accounted for, because it's already part of the water, but it's the ice that melts on land, like the glaciers, the Greenland ice sheet, and the glaciers, like the Himalayas have a bunch of glaciers, things like that. And then here in the South Pacific, there's 7 in this picture, and the largest was this 6.0 just south of Tonga, and this came in just after midnight today, 12:16 this morning Pacific time. That's all of those. So I'm going to take a short break, and we'll come back and get started on sea ice, so don't go anywhere. Okay, now we'll move on to the sea ice part of our show, And we're starting here. I've got a slideshow for you from Climate Reanalyzer. I save these images every day. And this is sea ice and snow cover for today, the 25th, June 25th. And we can zoom in and we can see this Hudson Bay is almost all melted out. We saw that was going to happen this week. These tributaries are really thinning down, opening up, and this Baffin Bay, this northern part is totally open, and this is in high melt in Baffin Bay. This east side of Greenland, see, this ice is just disintegrating really fast. Well, it's been raining, and you know that'll melt the ice faster than anything. And see, the edge is retreating here on this east side. There's just a little wisp of ice left up here in the Kara Sea. Let's zoom in some more. And you can see the darker colors, meaning that it's not as concentrated, and so that means there's less ice and it's broken up and more open water. And then here in the Laptev Sea, there's this ice. There's not much ice here. It's really almost all open by now around the coastline. And this Russia coastline is opening up even more down here and around New Siberian Island, and thinning way down and coming apart. Here, the Bering Strait, that's been open for a few weeks now, and this Chukchi Sea is, the ice is retreating there. Here in the Beaufort Sea, this is starting to break up, but we've got a big hole right along the Alaska and Canada coastline coming into the Amundsen Gulf here. And Sea of Okhotsk is open. So let's see what happened this week. So here we are last Sunday. You can see the difference. So I'll just click through and you can see the difference. So here was Sunday the 18th. Here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can see the changes from day to day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then today. So that's where we're at with sea ice on Climate Reanalyzer. And then moving on to the U.S. Navy model. This is Arctic sea ice thickness. Their latest data is for yesterday, the 24th, on all of these. So here's our color ledger on the right, and it goes from white, which is 0, and gray is 0 too. Lavender, light lavender, is about 1/2 meter thick. The dark purple is about 1 meter thick. The dark blue, right up here, is about 1.25 meters thick. The dark aqua, which we're seeing a lot of that here, is about 1.5 meters thick. And the bright aqua is 2 to 2.5 meters thick, and that's this ice right above Greenland and Canada, and some in the Beaufort Sea primarily, and a little bit in these other areas. And that's the majority of the ice, and then we'll have a little line of green, 3 meters thick, just above Canada and Greenland, and not much yellow, not much bright red, and just a tiny bit of dark red along the coastlines here along Canada. The dark red is 5 meters thick. So let's zoom in. And the only reason it's that thick is because of the ice drift has pushed the ice up to the coastline, and it piles up. And that's why we have the thicker ice right along this Canada and Greenland coast here. So here's the Hudson Bay, and see, it's just wispy ice down here now. And look how this is melting in the Baffin Bay. And see, it's really just wispy ice around a lot of Greenland here. And here's Svalbard and Franz Josef Land. So this ice edge is retreating now. Here's the Kara Sea, and not much left here. And see, it's kind of wispy up here, and then we've got some aqua ice in the North Kara Sea, where it's kind of piling up next to Severnaya Zemlya. Then we've got some open water around Komsomolets area, and open around this Russia coastline. See, this Laptev Sea, this is one of the first ones to go. And see, it's in the here's the dark purple further out, here's the dark blue, then the dark aqua. So it's thinned way down. Look how the blue is coming all the way down here, and then open around New Siberian Island. A lot of open water now in this East Siberian Sea. Here's a little thicker ridge coming down, and then big thinning here from Russia all the way over. Thinning, 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 thinning. And here's the Chukchi Sea. See, that's down into purple and blue now. And then there's, here in the Beaufort Sea, we've got an arm that's thinning out right through here. So this will melt out, and then this thicker ice will take a little bit longer to melt. And then here's open along Alaska, Canada, and down through these. Look, these tributaries are melting too. So here's the 30-day animation. So the data goes back 3 weeks, and forecast goes out to next Saturday. So let's see what they're showing is going to happen. Let's start down here. Yeah, let's see. This Hudson Bay, that'll be practically nothing. I mean, it's almost practically nothing now. But the white the whitish lavender. That's just wispy ice by the end. Then this Baffin Bay is really starting to dwindle down. Let's watch these tributaries. You can see the ice moving down. See? And the thicker ice, see the 5-meter ice, it's exiting, it's being, it's exiting through these openings, being pushed into those openings with the ice drift. And here in the Narrow Strait, you can see the ice flowing down here. And then here in the Beaufort Sea, watch here. See, that's going way down. This Chukchi is still thinning. So we're going so I'm going to stop it at the end. Okay, here we are for next Saturday, and look at how this is thinned way down. So by next Saturday, there's just this little area of bright aqua just above Greenland and Canada, and some in the Beaufort Sea, just touches of it here and there, and then it's into the blues and purples. And the blue, remember, is what we say 1.25 meters thick. So you're thinning way down. Here's the Laptev Sea and the Kara Sea. So there's that. And here's the Beaufort Sea. Sea ice thickness for yesterday. And here's this is a close-up of that area that's melting down. That arm right there. And here are the dark reds. Now watch, you'll see it sliding down and out. See? So here's the 30-day animation, and the forecast goes to next Saturday. So we're starting to see thinning right in here in the Beaufort Sea. Let's stop it. Okay, here we are at the end. See the darker aqua coming in. That's thinning. Thinning, thinning, thinning. And the green is going away down here. And then here's the blue coming in. And the Antarctic, they're on their refreeze. It's struggling, I have to tell you. It's still open on the west side of this West Peninsula. Got a little thickening down here in the Ross Sea. And our aqua ice, the thicker ice, is just along this western peninsula in the Weddell Sea. And the 30-day animation, again, forecast goes out to next Saturday. So now that we're in the summer in the northern hemisphere, the days are getting shorter in the northern hemisphere, and the and the nights are getting shorter in the southern hemisphere. So southern hemisphere had their longest day of the year on Wednesday. I mean their longest night, shortest day of the year, longest night. So there's that. Alright, moving on. National Snow and Ice Data Center, sea ice concentration, and see the dark blue here, that means it's almost melted all the way. And the brown line is the median. We're well under the median here. And wherever it's blue, that's where it's melting. And so this is what we've got here. Here's the extent chart for the melting of the Arctic sea ice. And we can see this blue line is this year. It's angling further down. This dotted line is 2012. We're just above 2012. I anticipate we will meet 2012, meet up with it, and go beneath it this year. That's what I anticipate. And then here's the Antarctic, and see the brown line, and it's well under the brown line on this north side and east side, and a little bit on this southeast side. And here's the refreeze chart for the Antarctic, and this is just not looking good. This year, record low. Here's last year, it was record low, and now we're below last year. And this gray line is the median. Okay, Greenland, look at this. This is the most melt we've seen in one day so far this year. This is from yesterday, and see all the orange. It's around all the edges now. Well, for yesterday, and then look how it comes in on this west side, and then a little bit on the south side, but definitely around the edges too. That's a lot of melting, and it's early in the year for that. Here are the cumulative melt days for this year. So we're seeing more blues around the edges, and darker blue here on the west side. And look how this white is going away. The white means no melt so far this year, but see the blue dots, it's filling in, and so once an area has even 1 day of melt, it sets it up to melt even faster. And then here's the extent chart. This was yesterday, and see, it spiked up. This is our highest reading so far this year, and it looks like the melt was about 25% yesterday. That's a lot. And then the blue line is the median. And it spiked up this week, see? I mean, we had several days of records, and then it would go down a little bit, but this is a definite spike up from the day before. See, we were about 15% the day before, and then it spiked up to 25%. So that's a big change there. Okay, that's all of those. And now we're not going to look at the Antarctic. The nighttime layer is not really good right now, so we can't really make that much out. So we're going to look at the Arctic here. And here's a sea ice concentration layer. And wherever you see a color, it's melting. That's what that means. So let's go in. Starting up here in the Lincoln Sea, and this is deteriorating further out. Look how big this area is. And this is Greenland, and then this is Ellesmere Island. That's part of Canada. And look at the melting here. And here's the ice exiting, and here's the nearest strait. So there's a pathway that's open there, a big pathway. And then we've got a little ice right at the end. Yeah, a little ice here. And then I think that's a cloud. Well, we can't see it. Yeah, this is a cloud. And then here's the Baffin Bay. This is open. Let's see. Look at all these clouds. Some of these clouds have rain in them. But this is open, and it's open up in here. Where you see the green, that's where it's melting really fast. So I expect that these northwest passages will be open for at least for August, maybe earlier. We'll just have to wait and see. And then here's Greenland. And there's the southern edge, southeast edge. Okay. And then here's this east ice edge. Okay, here's Franz Josef Land. And this is Svalbard here. Here's Novaya Zemlya. See, it's open. A little bit of ice right up here. And then let's go back. See these open patches. This is where it's melting here in the Kara Sea. Now we have something remarkable here. This is Severnaya Zemlya. Oh, by the way, like the earthquake happened. Oh, somewhere, probably right in here. Okay, so here on the 24th, this is the best view. And this is Severnaya Zemlya. This is the Vovolov ice cap. And you can see the ice pouring into the ocean. And I'm thinking this is why there's still ice right along here. It's because of this ice cap pouring ice into the ocean. But look at the rock. There's more rock than ever. So these ice caps are going away super fast. And then moving on. And where are we? So we saw earlier, or like last week and week before last, with this ice, where the ice kind of goes blue-green. And that's because it's melting. It's melting at a fast pace. See? So it's thinning out. And look, see the ice breaking off here. That's broken off of this big piece here. So let's go forward. Here's today. And see the blue-green. I'm wondering if that could be algae too. I mean, anything's possible up here. Algae, yeah, it could be algae. And then here's the north edge of the ice. Sort of. Yeah, part of it. Let's go. Let's see if we can see in the laptive. Yeah. So here's open water. Here's the ice. And moving on. So here's the laptive sea down here. Look at this. Here it is today. And I mean, it's just wispy ice there. Not much. Not very thick either. And see the cracks coming in. So that's breaking up. That won't be long left for that. And then this is the East Siberia Sea. this is melting along the Russia coastline. Let's see. We can see. Oh no, this is. I'm confused. Sorry. So, so the sea is down here. What did I say? Maybe I said that. I am getting super tired already. And then, here's the Chukchi Sea. So, this is in high melt. And here's the Bering Strait, I think. No, I get confused with that sometimes. The clouds and everything. Here's the Bering Strait. And then, see this open water by Alaska? Oops. And coming on down. And open water here, the Amundsen Gulf. Oh, I wanted to show the sea ice down here at the Beaufort Sea. Look at this. Start to see some open water peeking in. That is a big area there. And look at this tributary opening. This is wide open. So once this 5-meter ice gets pushed in, it'll be exiting through here. Again, look at these aquas. Here's Ellesmere Island, and back to Greenland. Okay, and now I think that's about all we're going to be able to see tonight. I was hoping to kind of see the North Pole. Here's yesterday, and now if we turn on, let's go back to today. If we turn on the nighttime layer, sometimes we can see through the clouds a little bit, or maybe this the data is without the clouds on some of these areas. See, there's ice. All right. Oh, I wanted to show down here with this nighttime layer. Here's the Lincoln Sea, and here's this ice just above Greenland. Look at the poor condition of that. That's all melting out. So here we can see the ice pretty well, and the leads are starting to melt. And so on. So let's turn off our sea ice layer. Earth at night layer. Uh-oh, cancel. So, there's that. Now, let's look at earthquakes. And so, the only way you can really see these earthquakes near the North Pole and get the data, what I do is I go to 1 day magnitude 2.5 and higher. And so we can see two circles overlapped here. So we know that there's 2 earthquakes there. And then you just scroll down here until you see Severna Zemlya right here, these 2 right next to each other. And then, so if you want to get the data, you just click on it like that. But this used to bother me a lot, but I'm not bothered that much anymore by this being so far up. But to really see it, you just have to get a close-up like this. And then let's go to 7-day all magnitudes and see what's happened. And that's just past day. I got the wrong one. I'm super tired. 7 days all magnitudes. Look at this. So we're showing 2036 this week. So these were Arctic earthquakes, definitely up there. And we've got movement down here around Tonga, 32 here. Look at this line. And we're just coming along here. Here's an unusual placement for one. Out in the ocean, and it's a 4.4. And it's showing 4.4, 233 kilometers northwest of Murgia, Spain. Right up here. Unusual place for it. Okay. What else did we have? .0 Hokkaido region. Okay. Okay, falling asleep, I'm sorry. And so, this is what we've got this week. I had another one here in the Gulf of California, 5.2. And here's one at the north end of the Juan de Fuca Plate, 4.0, Port McNeil. And then movement, look at this at the fulcrum point at Petrolia. And so there's that, and that's our report for tonight. And now, continuing to read out of the Old Testament, we're still in the book of Job. Job chapter 37. At this also my heart trembleth, and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice, and the sound that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roareth. He thundereth with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. He sealed up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into dens and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. By the breath of God frost is given, and the breadth of the waters is straitened. Also by watering he wearieth the thick cloud. He scattereth his bright cloud, and it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatsoever he commanded them upon the face of the world in the earth. He causeth it to come, whether for correction, or for his land, or for mercy. Hearken unto this, O Job, stand still, and consider the wondrous works of God. Dost thou know when God disposed them, and caused the light of his cloud to shine? Dost thou know the balancings of the clouds, the wondrous works of him, which is perfect in knowledge? How thy garments are warm, when he quieteth the earth by the south wind. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass? Teach us what we shall say unto him, for we cannot order our speech by reason of darkness. Shall it be told him that I speak? If a man speak, surely he shall be swallowed up. And now men see not the bright light which is in the clouds, but the wind passeth and cleanseth them. Fair weather cometh out of the north, which God is terrible majesty. With God is terrible majesty. Teaching the Almighty, we cannot find him out. He is excellent in power and in judgment, and in plenty of justice. He will not afflict. Men do therefore fear him. He respecteth not any that are wise of heart. Job chapter 37. So we're seeing things collapsing faster and faster around us as we go barreling into the end times. And we can keep calm and keep our focus if we ask for Jesus to come into our lives and our hearts. He'll come and He'll take care of you. And so I hope everyone has a good week. And I love you all and I'm praying for you. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, I recommend you do it now, before it's too late. And so, God willing, we'll see you back here next week. God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.